So today, as I say, back to school, helping your child get ready for the in-person instruction and how that looks like in your household. So the city is planning to have that choice for every parents who are willing to take the opportunity to send their child to school back on September. And there are some things that I know that are in your mind right now. And one of the things is, what are the reasons to attend school? And from the perspective of the educators and for perspective of all the clinicians and everything that is going on in terms of the child overall well-being, we feel there are some reasons that are very compelling for students to go back to school. And you can show slide number 2, Ms. Pope. So one of the things that help the child going back to school in person is that this can be challenging for parents for many, many, many reasons. It could be because you guys have reasons not to send them for personal reasons or for concerns. But I'm going to give you the two aspects of it. I'm going to discuss with you what are the pros and what might be the challenges that you may have. And hopefully we can engage in discussion here and come up with a plan to better support you through that transition. So one of the reasons to have your child going to in-person instruction is because academically it's proven that students learn better when they're in a classroom, when they are in contact with their teachers, when they participate in rich discussion, and the teachers is engaging with them in person. So that's one of the benefits. Another benefit that is very, very compelling is the interactions, the socialization, peer-to-peer support. That socialization that happens between them. Schools are a social place, and that's where the students go at that age, especially middle school, for support system with their peers, for friendship, for love interest, for sports, for gym programs, for arts in-person arts program, music, you name it. All of those things are very enriching to the whole child to provide them with that socio-emotional and personal development that they need. And those things happen mostly, even though happening now virtually, is kind of hinder the personal interaction is not there. So in terms of in-person instruction, allows parents also to engage on extracurricular, go to work, engage on going to school, engage in other types of activities because they don't have to care for their child at all times during the day. So those are some of the benefits. Socio-emotionally, the students who are not connected to peers or not connected to adults, not developing a strong sense of connection and belonging, they can become depressed, they can become anxious, and they can also become very, very hostile in their environment. They can retreat to themselves, spend a significant amount of time on social media or playing video games, and tend to isolate themselves from the families and friends, and that is not healthy. So all of these are the benefits of in-person instruction. Now, what are the downfalls for families in terms of what is happening when you're going to be considering the in-person instruction? Consider the child's health and safety. There are children that have medical conditions that prevent them from going to school and be exposed to a significant amount of people due to their compromised health situation or health status. And that it varies from student to student and family to family. It could be that the student is perfectly healthy, but there are family members in the household who have immune systems that are compromised. Therefore, going to the school community or going to the community in large and coming back to the house can impact the overall health of the family members. And that is all valid. So when you're thinking about your child and sending them back to school, these are the considerations and the things that you should consider. Now, let's say that you made the decision today that your child is going to go to in-person instruction 100% in September. There are some things that we would like to discuss with you in terms of how you can support that transition. Right now, it's been over a year. It's going to be a year and a half. By the time we go back in September, it's almost like 16 months that the students have not been in the school building. And there are a lot of things that need to happen for them to be acclimated to going back to school. And one of those very, very important points is routine, consistency, schedules. So we're gonna be discussing some of the tips that you can, as a parent, um, practice at home to support your child going back to school. Some of the tips is for your child uh, to send back to school is to expose them to live the life and practice how it looks like to getting up an hour earlier, going to bed an hour earlier, how it looks like to get up in the morning and get ready to go to school. Get ready early, have some breakfast, pack your stuff, get ready to be to school on time. Right now, they haven't practiced that for over a year. And believe me, it's hard. I go to school personally a few days a week. And when I get up an hour and a half earlier, my body feels it because I'm used to getting up a little later when I don't have to commute. So all that is legit. So we have to help our students transition into the mindset of going back to school, keeping a routine, scheduling to go to bed earlier, getting up earlier, getting ready earlier, preparing all the belongings the night before, and supporting them. And you can practice that at home 2 or 3 days a week just to getting acclimated back to the routine. You can also help them by discussing how they feel about going back to the building. Make that a family conversation. Have the conversation with the children and how you feel about it, and listen to what they have to say. Some students might feel that they're not ready to go back, that they will prefer to remain remote, and that is a conversation and a family decision. We cannot impose one way or another in how your child should attend a school, either remotely or in person. So sitting down and setting that expectations, clear expectation, and what it looks like, how does it feel like when they go back to school is very, very important to ease that transition. Setting schedules is also very important because that's what they're going to have at school. What does it look like? Not just getting up and in the morning and going to bed at night, but how does it look like having a schedule after school, doing homework 3 days or 4 days a week that is a structure, helping them establish that balance and keeping that communication open with the school, because we're here to support your efforts and support you 100%, but we need to hear from you. So some of the things that I'm sharing with this PowerPoint, and we're going to post it online, is all of us contact information. If you feel that your child is experiencing some level of anxiety about the thought of going back to school, please let us know so we can include the students in this conversation, either individually or in group support groups. We can also have some information and links available for you to visit to gather additional information about transitioning back to school. Now, one of the things that we're doing, the city is doing, is the summer rising program, which is to help the student transition back to the building and transition back to school and back to the routine. So through that program, we send a survey to inquire about parents' decision on whether or not they're interested in sending the students back to school. I would say, if you can and you don't have a plan for your student, allow them to have that experience, because it will make it a lot easier for September for them to adjust to going back to in-person learning. That is the city plan, to have in-person instruction for all the parents who decide that they want the kids in person. So we're talking about how to ease the transition to help your child transition back to in-person learning. And we discuss some of the concerns that some parents may have, and we discuss some of the benefits that the benefit for the child for being in the building. And some of the benefits are that some students learn a lot better to being in a classroom and in direct contact with the teachers. Some students adjust better academically. Some students also thrive from the social interaction, and they thrive from that contact with their peers. They enjoy physical activities in the gym. They engage more in hands-on activities with art, with music, and all those things happen more to the fullest in person. So those are some of the benefits, and then I discuss some of the challenges, which is students who may have compromised health situations, or family members within the household that may have compromised health situations. And that is a decision that is on the family to make and on the parents to make. And how important it is to have an open, honest communication and discussion with your child about your plans, or even asking them how they feel about going back or not going back. How does that look like? What are the expectations? And help them set up a schedule, set up a transition plan where they get off a few days a week early in the morning, like they were going to the building, just to get the news on that. Have them get on a schedule, like, okay, you can dress up and everything. Why not? Because we got to do it to go to work. They've been in their home for almost 18 months now. That is a long time. And we have to get them back in track. And I was sharing that, for example, I go to the building a few days a week. Those days that I go, I'm exhausted because I have to get up like 2 hours early to be there on time. So those are 2 hours that I'm not sleeping. So it's the same thing with the kids. They have to go back to that routine and to get used to it. So the Summer Rising program is an opportunity for the parents to choose to send the students to the building for them to get acclimated all over again. And that is something that if the parents are interested, the survey was sent out, and for you guys to let us know, or if you have any concern, if you have any questions, we are here to help. So there was a question here and a comment, but the remote option is not going away. It's not. And as I say, that is a decision that the parents have to make, whether or not they want their students in person. And one way or another, we at MS390 are here to support your efforts and support your decision. And if we did it for a year and a half, we can do it again. And we can continue doing it for those parents that feel that that is the best option for their families. Because I think it's very important that you guys engage your child in that conversation. What is the family decision? How it's going to look like in September? Because that will help them transition better one way or another. Let's say that you decided you're going to keep them home. That is a discussion that should happen now and begin preparing the students for that. The same thing if you decided otherwise. That is a conversation that needs to happen now to help them transition easier on September. And if you decided to send them back to school in September, it should be some steps that need to happen in order to help them transition and be successful back in September. Every student learns at their own pace and learn differently. They have different learning styles. We have some students who have successfully managed to be 100% engaged through remote learning. And we have other students who are very discouraged and do not do very well with remote learning. That is a family decision. We can only provide the families with the information, and the family make that decision whether they want to send the students back in person to the building or not. We can only support the family efforts either way. We here 100% for the families. Any other questions or comments? So Maria put in the chat, I'm going to read here that Maria said, not every parent wants to be in person due to different reasons or situations. And even students learn different. Some benefit from remote and some others do not. That is why both options are being shared with parents. So this is available to parents to make the decision on how they want to proceed for September. And it really, really helps us if we know that based on the survey that we shared this week, and whether or not you feel comfortable even sending the kids even to Summer Rising for the school, for the students to get acclimated during the summer. So feel free to reach out to the counselors, to myself, to the administrators. Reach out for any issues, any concern, any flushing out or ideas, so we can help you through the process. We're here 100% for you, and with you, we can go to great places. So I thank you for joining my session every Wednesdays and Thursdays at 5:30, at 5 to 5:30. And now we're going to transition to the regular meeting, and Ms. Poe is going to be leading that meeting. Thank you so much, and feel free to contact us with any issues or concern, or even just to discuss what your options. Thank you.